Today, I want to talk with you about why the same tax advice that's helping you build your retirement savings over the course of your career can actually be working against you in retirement. Now, I've helped hundreds of people with their retirement planning, and every time I have the conversation with them around taxes and retirement, I get almost the exact same response every time. If you're not familiar with these concepts, they can seem counterintuitive at first. It's so impactful that it will change the way you think about your retirement planning forever. So I want to start by talking about the traditional advice that we've all grown accustomed to over the course of our lives. Every time we go to get our taxes done, every time we speak with our advisor, you're probably hearing advice that's designed to reduce taxes today and defer taxes as long into the future as possible. Kick that tax can down the road. We've all heard that concept before. So there's many different examples of this, but maybe one that you're familiar with is maximizing 401k contributions. We've all heard that advice many, many times. And we've all heard that the 401k is the best retirement savings vehicle. Now, why is the 401k considered the best way to save for retirement? Because of the tax benefits. What is the tax benefit of a 401k? Well, traditionally, it's tax deferral. It's reducing taxable income today and kicking that can down the road into the future. Now, if you're in the pre-retirement years, that might be the most efficient retirement savings advice for you. But here's the issue. When you do retire, everything is going to change. Your income is going to change. The way you generate that income is going to change. And as a result, the way you think about taxes needs to change too. But the issue is so many of us have been so ingrained with this traditional thinking that we end up thinking about taxes the exact same way in retirement as we did in our careers. And as a result, we end up paying far more in taxes than we otherwise need to. So I want to use an example that I hope will illustrate this to you. A husband and wife who is now retired. During their career, they were receiving about several $100,000 a year in total income. And now they've retired, and their focus, like many others, is on reducing taxes and deferring taxes as far into the future as possible. So that means they are taking income currently from their more tax efficient retirement income sources like Social Security and like withdrawals from their brokerage account. And as a result, even though they're targeting the same lifestyle that they were during their career, their taxable income is a fraction of what it was before, and as a result, they're in some of their lowest tax years of their entire lives. Now, that sounds like a good thing, but the issue is the story isn't over there, and the reason why is they have $3 million in an IRA, and they're in their early 60s today. When they're 75 years old, they'll be forced to take required minimum distributions from that IRA, whether they need the income or not, and those RMDs are taxed as ordinary income. So because they're not using that IRA for income now, it's projected to grow, and when we reviewed their projections with them, we showed this couple that IRA might be $6 million or more when they're 75 and it's time to take RMDs. And that means that first RMD could be $225,000 or more, and each year those RMDs are expected to grow and grow and grow. So while their taxable income is very low today, when RMDs begin, they'll be in the 24% bracket or potentially even higher than that in the future, and that won't change for the rest of their lives. The tax arc that we're describing here, where taxable income was very high before they retired, in the early years of retirement it's very low, and when RMDs begin, it's much higher again. That tax arc is very typical of what a lot of people will see in retirement, and it's not efficient. And the reason why it's not efficient is because every single low tax year that goes by is an opportunity lost to plan for those higher tax years in the future. So for example, we were talking a minute ago about their income strategy in retirement. If they incorporate some withdrawals from their IRA account to supplement withdrawals from their brokerage account, they will be recognizing more income today, but they'll be reducing the size of their IRA and as a result, reducing the size of their RMDs in the future. If they consider some Roth conversions and move money from their pre-retirement accounts or pre-tax accounts, I should say, to their after-tax retirement accounts so that money can grow tax-free and be withdrawn tax-free later, the amount of that conversion is recognized as taxable income in the year of the conversion. So some of these strategies require this husband and wife couple to recognize more income now than they otherwise would need to. But by recognizing more income now, they're paying more taxes while they're in lower tax years, while they're in the 10 or 12 or 22% brackets, so that they're forced to take less out from required minimum distributions when they're in the 24 or 32% brackets. So what's changing here? What's changing is a subtle shift in the way that we're thinking about tax planning. Instead of putting the focus on reducing taxes to be as low as possible today and deferring taxes as far as possible, kicking that tax can down the road. We're intentionally recognizing income when we're in lower tax years so that we reduce income in higher tax years when we otherwise wouldn't need it. And as a result, we are potentially reducing the total amount of taxes that we're going to pay over the course of our lifetime. So instead of kicking the can down the road and deferring taxes, we are reducing total lifetime taxes. And as a result, that gap between what you make and what you keep is narrower because we have a more efficient retirement income plan. And in this case, that could mean more growth after taxes, and that means a greater legacy that could be left to children, or that can mean more income that they can safely enjoy during their retirement. So the exact techniques and the exact amounts, the exact proportions are going to be a little bit different for everybody. They're going to be a little bit different for you based on your unique circumstances, but the concept remains the same. The concept of planning for the long term remains the same. So I want to spend a few moments talking about how you can implement this, how you can incorporate this in your plan. And oftentimes when we meet with someone for the first time, we find that different decisions related to their retirement planning are happening in a silo. For example, election decisions are only made in the context of Social Security. Tax decisions are only made with their tax preparer. Investment decisions are only made with their investment advisor or financial advisor. The issue with that approach is that each one of these areas have an impact on the other. And so even if you're not aware of it, making decisions in one area will impact all the other areas of your planning too. So, for example, if your CPA isn't aware of your income needs in retirement, how much you have in brokerage accounts versus IRAs, what your investment strategy is, or maybe most importantly, your vision for your future, how much you want to enjoy it in retirement, how much you want to leave for heirs, they can't possibly give you the best long-term tax recommendations. On the flip side, if your financial advisor isn't proactively asking for copies of your tax returns and scheduling joint conversations with you and your CPA, they can't possibly be providing the most tax-efficient income planning advice for retirement. Our suggestion would be to have all of these areas coordinated and implemented into one comprehensive plan, with the understanding that any decision that you make in one area will impact the decisions that need to be made in other areas of your planning too. That type of work just so happens to be what we do every single day with the people that we work with. If any of this resonated with you and you'd like to have a conversation, visit us at hapfinancial.com and we'd love to speak with you. Thanks so much for watching today and have a great rest of your day.